And in Liverpool this week, a documentary premiered on the excitement created in some quarters on the left by Jeremy Corbyn. So has Sir Keir Starmer shaken off the shackles of his predecessor? Liverpool's socialist singers have had a long connection with Corbyn.
We've performed at the arena when Jeremy Corbyn came to speak a few years ago, and we were on a top of a fire engine outside St George's Hall.
And how do you feel now about the current leader?
Well, I'm very disappointed.
They feature in Manifesto, a film that follows the work of Walton CLP, the so-called safest Labour seat in the country.
What I'm most proud about this film is it's a document of a time, a time of hope for many.
The people who are in this documentary are here tonight. The first time they'll see your finished piece of work.
This is a community I'm from. Spent most of my life living in the community, documented it for 3 years. And now I've got everyone in the film who trusted us, to shadow them for 3 years. It's incredibly nerve-wracking.
Alan Gibbon rejoined Labour when Jeremy Corbyn became leader and led Walton CLP. He's since been expelled from the party and believes the current leader bears some of the blame for the 2019 defeat.
The revolt tragically came from inside the Labour Party, from people like Keir Starmer and people who wanted to sabotage Jeremy Corbyn's leadership.
Sir Keir Starmer wasn't the leader of the party at that stage. It was Jeremy Corbyn, and his message wasn't getting through. It's going to take a long time for Labour to get back that chance of power.
And how we got there, I think, was that people would not accept a twice-elected leader. They didn't do everything they could to get that leader in.
Ian Byrne won his seat in West Derby in 2019 next to Walton and features in the film. He hopes his party can follow the same journey as his team.
You look at what Liverpool done, took over a fractured party and then became the best team in the world, and that's the sort of, that's what you've got to have. You've got to have complete unity.
Well, football, as important as it is just a game. Politics can lead to leadership. Can you get behind your current leader?
Can I get behind the current leader? I always support whoever's in charge, yeah, much like football.
But for some members, the party that made Manifesto is a far cry from what Labour is today.
The current Labour Party is a very poor shadow of the Labour Party that I joined when Jeremy Corbyn was actually going for leadership. It's an absolute travesty.
Manifesto tells the story of Labour's defeat from a community that was determined to win. And the film's director, Daniel Draper, joins us now. Daniel, a little less nervous today, I hope, than you were on Thursday evening. How was it received?
Oh, yeah, a lot less nervous. It went down quite well, to tell you the truth, Mairead. The Q&A was interesting. People seemed to respond to the film. I think there was a few tears, as well as sort of laughs, if you like. But I suppose a film that sort of deals with the peaks and troughs of activism, that was always going to be the case. But yeah, it seemed to go down quite well.
It's now on general release. You say it documents a period of time. When we spoke on Thursday, you thought that that period of time would just be very short, that it would perhaps have been a Labour victory. You have to show that disappointment and that struggle.
Yeah, there was no sort of denying that we had to sort of document that. The whole idea was to shoot this film over 6 months in 2019, and it would end with the general election, and what I thought and all hoped would be a Labour victory, but obviously that didn't happen. So we went back to the drawing board and sort of carried on filming. And as you say, the highs and lows are all there. But I think that's, in many ways, I think the film's still a bit raw for many of the people in the film. But it's a celebration of, in many ways, humanity, in terms of, getting, that hope, getting knocked down, that rebirth, about coming again, and ultimately just caring about your community and the people in that community.
It started in 2019. You finished around 2.5 years later. So what was the difference in people, or did everybody still have that same passion, that same drive, despite that defeat?
Yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, some people left the party post-2019. Some people were expelled. But in terms of, the core activists who we followed, it was business as usual. As far as they're concerned, they can only really affect sort of the world of politics from the community, from a grassroots level. So, I think a month after that election, we started filming our next day after the election defeat, and it was business as usual. It was like, we go again, if you like. And you know, I think I mentioned in the intro to the film the other week, what the activists talk about at the end of the film is echoed in what they talk about in the first scene. It's very sort of black and white in many ways, their fight and sort of their approach to it.
Well, thank you for that, Daniel Draper. Manifesto is now on general release. You can probably see it at a cinema near you.